Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. And running. Little Black Eyed Peas.
This one's for the future, bro. This one's from the future.
Little Black Eyed Peas, you know. Hello and welcome back to the Second and Two podcast. I'm your host, TB. I got my co-host, producer extraordinaire, hat connoisseur, no longer closet Broncos fan because they've won 4 in a row. Jody. What's up, Joe?
Yo, what's good, man? Just, we're here on the week of Thanksgiving. Couldn't be a better time, A lot of things people reflect on at that time. But on top of that, had some good football, food. Had some good food, went home for my mom's birthday. Had some good old stadium pizza,
Ooh,
Can't go wrong with
stadium.
that.
Shout out.
So, we're here, we're back. A little bit later record time than normal, but we're still getting it rolling.
Yeah. We're recording, should be noted, we're recording on a Tuesday, which is different for us, but it's kind of fun because all 22 film is out right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen all the games, not just every game until the Monday Night Football game. So we have all the games to talk about. We know all the results. We know all the standings. Generally, Tuesday would be a tougher day for us to record on, but because of Thanksgiving week, schedules are a little different. So we're recording here on a Tuesday morning, might it be, and we're excited.
And we'll be back eventually too. You guys won't notice, but for us, we'll be recording again later, getting a little special segment in there. So
double duty for a second segment of the day. Yeah, no. Today is definitely a special podcast episode, Thanksgiving week, and we're excited for it. What do we got first, Joe?
It's your update with your game last week. I know you probably don't really want to speak on it too much, but I tuned in. I remembered it was like, oh, it's time. It's game time. I pull it up, and I don't want to take too much of your thunder, but the score wasn't there. And then I checked in a little bit late, and I was like, oh, tough day.
So, yeah, I was kind of just hoping we could skip this segment this week.
All right, well, I was gonna say I could ask you
kidding.
questions about the future because I'm assuming you got something else going on in terms of the sports world out there.
Yeah, in case the people couldn't tell out there, we lost. Second round of the playoffs. Generally, that round in Texas high school football separates the men from the boys, and unfortunately, we were not the men this week. We lost 70-0.
Yeah, that's tough, bro.
So, went from assistant coach of the week last week for our performance on defense to definitely not that this week. We had the worst loss in the playoffs in the state of Texas. It was pretty bad. There was a couple that were close, but ours was the worst. And honestly, all the credit in the world to Wellington. They did a great job executing what they do best. We never forced them to do anything different. And, it was I wouldn't say it was a lack of talent. They were probably more talented than us, but it was really a lack of experience being in that environment, being in that round. They've been there so many times, and this was our first time being there. And it just showed. It was very apparent. The game was really fast for our kids early. They jumped on us early. It was like 16-0 before you could blink. And I'm talking within the first 12 to 15 snaps, it was 16-0. So they jumped on us. They put us away quickly. So credit to them. They did exactly what they wanted to, and we never made them do anything different. It was a really good season. I told the kids after the game, it doesn't matter if we had gone undefeated and been to the state title game and lost 70-0 in the state title game. No one would have been happy, right? That's true. You don't want to finish your season losing 70-0. Nobody likes that.
Mm-hmm.
But, having a few days to reflect on things, it took me about a day. I was pretty bummed. There's kind of a tough reconciliation that goes on where when you lose 70-0, okay, so we weren't winning that game no matter what we did.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear. So there's a little bit of like, well, there's not much we could have done. On the other hand, it's like, man, did we have to lose 70 could we have been
Yeah.
respectable? Could we have
Soften the blow a
competed a
little
lot?
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was definitely like we could have competed harder. And our kids really did put their head down when we got down about 32-0. And we
Yeah, that
probably
makes sense.
spotted them the last 40 points of that blowout. You know what I mean? Like where it was just we just stopped playing. We were feeling sorry for ourselves. That was the part I was more disappointed in than anything. But,
Yeah. Just tucking the tail.
yeah, and again, that's like that immaturity, that youth, and we talked about that too. But
Mhm.
ultimately, really good season. We made some history, first district win since 2016, first
Yeah.
playoff appearance since 2011, first playoff win since 2011, best start since 2004 with the 3-0 start. So, did a lot of good things. Kids proved to themselves that they could win, which I don't know that they were really thinking they could before the season started,
Yeah.
and they proved
No,
it
that
to
makes sense.
themselves. So for that, I was really proud of them. It was a good year, but certainly not satisfied. And I told them in the offseason, you will hear me say 70-0. Like when
Yeah.
things are getting hard and you don't want to work hard right now, all I'm going to say is 70-0, and that should be enough to be like, you
Mhm.
know what? No, I am going to finish this set right now, or
Yeah.
I am going to run this sprint hard right now. So
Yeah.
you use it, let it fuel you. I know it'll fuel me. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let that
But we can't do
be.
nothing about
No, they can't do anything
it.
about it now. But man, come next August,
Yeah.
we'll be able to
The
do something about
mentality's
it.
gotta be right. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure they still have some things to look forward to. You brought up all the accolades that have been accomplished this year that you guys have done, and not to mention just what I think they had 2 wins last year, if I'm not mistaken, you told us.
yeah.
So the
2-8 the year
first
before.
yeah, so I mean, that alone should tell them they got something to prove to themselves and, a lot of room to grow for sure.
Yeah,
More experience that they've been earned, so bunch of things that just gotta keep their mind right and not just dwell back on the 70-0 being like, "Oh, man, we just got blown out and we're not good," or whatever.
yeah. No, it definitely. Like I said, they proved something to themselves, and then it was also a wake up call that like, hey,
Yeah,
you did some good things, but you are not there yet. Like it's not
yeah,
close yet. We got to work harder. Which it's good. It's a good thing. It just sucks that that's what has to happen for them to
yeah, to get the
for them
realization.
to yeah. So, but it was a great season. I couldn't be more proud of them, and I'm really excited for next year for sure.
Oh, yeah, man. Just get back to it. Okay, so as I've mentioned earlier, are you doing other sports like you were at the other schools, or you just
Yes.
strictly football here? Okay.
Yeah, so instantly went right into coaching basketball, like literally the day after that. So that
Yeah.
helps too because you have to just focus to another sport already. So
Yeah.
I've already coached 4 basketball games since we lost.
In
So
3 days, bro?
yes, yes.
You had a tournament or what?
Friday we had a game, yep.
Yeah.
Saturday we had 2 games and a tournament, and then
Uh,
yesterday, Monday, we had a game. Now we're on break for this week.
there you go.
So I do get a little break here, but yeah, right into basketball. So
Men's, women's, both? What do we got?
the girls, I'm on the girls side in
Girls?
basketball.
Mm.
Which coaching girls JV basketball, that will test you. So,
Woosah, bro,
yeah,
woosah.
a lot of woosah, yeah, a lot of woosah, a lot of turnovers, a lot of fouls.
There you go. Hey, I mean, layups
Um,
too? Maybe you got some
yeah,
shooters, I don't know.
eh,
Slowly, maybe?
we'll
You gotta
get
teach
there.
them some stuff. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Alright, but looking ahead into the news around the league, man, we got, another slate of just injuries all around. Thursday night starts off with our guy Joey B. Mark Andrews as well. I believe Joe Burrow messed up his hand or his wrist. I
His
don't know which
wrist.
one. Wrist. And
Yeah,
then Mark Andrews was his ankle, yeah.
yeah. It looks like they're both out for the year. They're both
hmm
donezo. So,
Another Dunzo, we got our guy Deshaun Watson. But our guy DTR took the dub in his absence, so maybe
and
maybe the Browns can still make it. And what's that guy's name? It's not Bajan. That's the Bears dude. Oh well, the backup for the Bengals. He was looking better at towards the end of the night. It started off slow. I mean, yeah, as you would expect, coming in cold. But
mhm.
I still think he might be able to get some things done. Maybe not take them to the playoffs, but catch some dubs along the way.
Yeah. No, I think he did enough to win, and that's what the Browns are going to ask him to do. So we'll see. But I'm excited for DTR to get this opportunity. He had a great career at UCLA in college, and so
He
we'll see
looked
what
good
he
in
can
the
do.
preseason as well.
Yeah. Guy coming back off injury, though, Kyler Murray. He's looking good. Second game, threw a rocket to Rondell Moore, just moonshot touchdown. So Cardinals didn't do quite enough to get the win
Yeah.
Sunday, but they're 1-1 since Kyler came back, and they've looked a lot more functional offensively. I think they're at least more fun to watch now with Kyler
Yeah,
back in the
true,
lineup.
definitely.
So just a team to monitor. Every year in December, you get those teams that are like, they're not great record-wise, but like they're playing better teams and teams that are playing for playoff seeding, and they're counting
Yeah.
games against those teams as wins, and then all of a sudden, Kyler Murray and
Close
the
makes it
Cardinals
fun.
are beating the Eagles in week 14, and you're like, what? So the Cardinals seem to be like one of those teams that you just got to watch out for moving
Upset
forward.
alert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, more injuries we got. We got Cooper Kupp. I don't remember what his was in the game. I know Geno
Low
Smith,
ankle,
low ankle.
low ankle
Okay.
sprain. Yeah. So they
We
got
got
him day to day right now.
Devon A-Chain. He hurt his knee.
Again.
Let's see. We got
Yeah.
Geno Smith. It was his elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Although that dude's a monster for coming back on that last drive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We got Aaron Jones. I don't know what his was. What was it, Dina?
I think his is a knee as well.
Knee.
Speculations maybe MCL, but I haven't
Ooh.
heard anything.
All
So we'll
right.
see on him.
Kenny Walker. I don't know what his was, but I was sad that I saw him just play like literally like 5 snaps and then he was done.
Yeah. He his was I want to say it was groin or hip flexor, one of those. It was in that region of
Okay.
the body. Yeah,
Just like some
his was a
quad work.
weird. Yeah, his was a weird deal.
All right. And then we got Joey Bosa. I don't know what his was as well. Do you?
Bosa, I'm pretty sure they said he was taken off on a cart. I
Ooh.
did not see that live. I just read that, but
Uh-huh.
his sounded not good out of everyone's. His sounded like it might be the worst one. So
Okay. Yeah, that sounds bad. If you're on a cart, that's never a good implication for nothing.
yeah,
But yeah, all these happened all over the weekend. Obviously, 3 of those all came from the same game, which is crazy. And your boy was there. Took my mom to the game for her birthday. That was on Saturday. So it was a good time. Let's see.
yeah,
Backup quarterbacks though, making some plays around the league. We got our guy Tommy DeVito took the dub. Jets, you have Zach Wilson. Didn't the backup come in, Tim Boyle, and he's gonna get the start on Friday?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just look at all these backup QBs that are playing. That's
Yeah,
really it's the year of the backup QB, right? I mean, you said
yeah.
the
Aiden
Giants,
O'Connell.
DeVito, the Jets,
Yeah,
Zach
Browning,
Wilson.
there's his name from the
Yep,
Bengals. Now
the
getting the
Bengals.
nod. DTR, as we mentioned as well. Will Levis, yep. They're letting him get the reins. And then Drew Lock came in for, I believe, 2 series. Threw a pick, as I
3.
told my mom he definitely would.
Yeah.
And then Josh Dobbs for the Vikings, who also was starting in Arizona because Kyler Murray was hurt. So crazy.
All those guys started or had, all of those players either started the game or their teams had to turn to them during the game
Uh-huh.
um, on Sunday, this past Sunday. Every guy we just
Yeah,
named played this past Sunday. That is literally a quarter of the league was playing backup quarterbacks on Sunday. And then if you look at throughout the year, the Rams had to play Brett Rippon, the Bears had to play
Mhm.
Tyson Bagent, the Cardinals had Dobbs, like you mentioned. The Colts are with Gardner
They're
Minshew
still
now.
playing, yeah.
The Saints, believe are going to have to start Jameis Winston this week, and then the
Okay.
Falcons they had Tyler Heineke at one point. All those teams, and now it looks like the Patriots are going to turn away from Mac Jones.
They're
So
going Zappy?
that's what it sounds like.
Ooh.
So that's another 6, 7 teams. So about half the league has not had a consistent starter this year at quarterback.
Yeah, that's insane. Tough
I
week or
mean,
tough
and so
year for that all around.
that's a weird. I mean, I that's got to be Yeah, like that doesn't feel like that's been the case the last 3 or 4 years in the NFL. So it feels like that's a real trend right now. Sure, there are plenty of explanations or things that we could talk about. I mean, some of it is poor quarterback play. A lot of it is injuries.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna
Feels like
say the crazy
feels like
part is
sacks
that
are way up this year.
yeah, I will definitely. I mean, we didn't talk about him on this list, but I mean, we know DeVito got sacked 9 times this past weekend, but also our guy Sam Howell gets sacked like crazy. But I was gonna say it's crazy that this is like the case because they got a bunch of rules protecting quarterbacks, and you would expect quite the opposite, and this is not the case. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
it does. It just feels like for whatever reason, just a lot more backup quarterbacks this year. Maybe it's just the year of the backup QB. Um,
Go make a scratcher with that on there. If you get 12 or 3 crutches in a row, you win the lotto ticket or something.
so speaking of backup QBs and trends here, we've now had multiple teams fire their offensive coordinators in consecutive weeks here. Obviously, the Ken Dorsey firing from the Bills happened after we recorded last Monday.
Mhm.
Um, they found a little bit of success this week against the Jets with Joe Brady as their new offensive coordinator. I don't know that we could necessarily say that, it was Ken Dorsey's fault. The Bills were losing games.
Yeah.
It was, I've seen this joke made a bunch. It was definitely his fault that the Bills had 12 on the field when the Broncos lined up for that field goal. Stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
people have thrown all the stats out there about where his offense ranked and what they were doing. Um, so from a performance standpoint, the offense did not feel like it was the problem. However, Sean McDermott clearly felt like he needed to change something up. And right now he's the defensive coordinator. So he doesn't have a defensive coordinator fire. Josh Allen has thrown a lot of picks this year. He's kind of looked more like early years Josh Allen with the way he's throwing interceptions.
Yeah.
And so maybe at the end of the day, that's kind of where that came down to. We also don't know the dynamic behind the scenes, the working dynamic and the relationship between Sean McDermott and Ken Dorsey. And so that may have played a role as well. But ultimately, for the Bills, they certainly found some success and got back on a winning streak this week, beating the Jets. We'll see if it continues. And, they got a much tougher opponent in week 12, and that's going to be the Eagles. So,
Yeah.
on the flip side, news dropped this morning. The Steelers
Matt
finally
Canada.
fired Matt Canada.
Yeah. I seen
So,
that. That was the first thing I woke up to with our guy Shefty.
yep, Shefty was on it. It's something people have. I said finally because this is something people have been calling for since last year.
Bro.
So been in the works for quite some time, and now it's going to be on Kenny Pickett. If things don't get better, people will blame Kenny Pickett next,
Mhm.
and that's just a fact. So for Kenny Pickett, it puts him a little bit on the hot seat, I think, because if he doesn't perform down the stretch of this season with a pretty good team around him, they're 6-4 right now. They're in the playoff hunt.
Mhm.
Um, if it doesn't get better offensively, people will then blame him because there's no Matt
Yeah.
Canada to blame anymore. So we'll see what happens with that Steelers offense. But those are two coaching changes that have happened. Not a lot of head coaching changes. We saw the Raiders fire McDaniels.
Mhm.
Feels like the seats of Ron Rivera and Brandon Staley are warming up right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Either one of those guys could be next. This is always kind of that time of year where you start seeing those things happen. Probably my least favorite time of the year. Being a coach myself, I know how hard that job is, and sometimes it just, yeah, you know, it just,
He's
yeah,
fighting to hold on to your spot for a little
yeah.
longer, huh?
I don't envy those coaches who are in those positions. So, but
But some other
what else we got?
sad things we seen yesterday, to be exact. The Chiefs receivers, man, they were dropping balls in critical moments. We got our guy Travis Kelce had that fumble. He had that ball that he started looking upfield before he caught for that first down that they needed late in the game. We had, I think, MVS dropped a possible touchdown that would have led them to at least be in the lead at that moment, maybe even win. And then we had Justin Watson as well with a couple a couple drops to help get first downs as well. It's just I mean, I was gonna mention MVS in my Boo Boo Evans at an honorable mention because him and our winner are definitely getting made fun of on X. So it's been a tough time all around for receivers recently.
Yeah, the Chiefs. This is a recurring theme with them.
Mm-hmm.
Kadarius Toney early in the year,
Yeah,
Justin Watson, MVS, even
not his
Kelsey had
first
that
time
fumble.
that's happened too
Yeah,
for
even
MVS.
Kelsey, even Kelsey had the fumble though.
Yeah,
So,
which was crazy.
just all around tough. Like that felt like a game the Chiefs controlled for most of it, and then somehow
Definitely.
lost. They gave it
Yeah,
away, and I'm sure Chiefs fans are not thrilled because we're about to talk about it next. Playoff standings that really
yeah.
impacted things.
Yeah, starting with the NFC. So we're giving you the leaders and then the couple people in the hunt. We got the Eagles at 9-1, Lions 8-2, 49ers 7-3, Saints 5-5. Those are all going to be the division leaders. We got the Cowboys at 7-3, Seahawks 6-4, and the Vikings 6-5. Those would be your division the what's the word?
Wild
I'm
card
blanking right now.
teams.
There you go, wild card teams. And then people in the hunt, we got the Packers at 4-6, Rams 4-6, Falcons at 4-6, and the Bucks as well with 4-6, which is crazy. We got 3 of those dudes from that division down there. But I guess
Yeah,
they're all in the hunt for their division spot, realistically, right?
yeah. Well, and you kind of look at schedules coming up. The Seahawks have a brutal stretch. Their next
Yeah.
4 games are the Niners twice, the Eagles, and I am blanking. It might be the Ravens. So, like, potentially, no, they already played the Ravens. Who am I missing? I don't
For the
remember who.
Seahawks,
Yeah. If you can figure that out, I know it's the
the
Niners twice, the Eagles
Steelers
once.
is
Oh,
up
it's the
there, I think it says.
the
No,
Cowboys. It's the
Cowboys,
Cowboys
yep. So
is the
Niners,
4th game.
Cowboys, Niners. Oh, then we
Eagles.
got Eagles, Seahawks, or sorry, Titans, Steelers, Cardinals
Yeah. So their next 4.
are tough.
You could
And then it
we
lightens
could
up a
look
bit.
up 4 weeks from now, and the Seahawks could be 6-8.
Yeah, that's brutal.
So if you consider that, then that makes all those 4 and 6 teams really in the hunt. And the Rams, maybe I'm a little biased here, but the
Yeah.
Rams are 2 games back, but they hold the ultimate tiebreaker because they've beaten Seattle twice now.
Twice, yeah.
So if the Rams can just get even with Seattle in the next 4 weeks, then you'll look at, a really good shot for them to make it. I think the Vikings, I know they lost a tough one to the Broncos, but they have just managed to piecemeal things together with Dobbs without Justin Jefferson. They'll get Justin Jefferson
Yeah,
back
true.
sometime soon, which will make them more dynamic. Um, I just imagine they'll figure out how to get it done. They have 2 more games against the Lions. So
Yeah,
those are 2 games that you feel like, okay, maybe they're gonna at best be a 10-7 team if you figure they lose those 2 games to the Lions. But I do think we could see those last 2 spots in the NFC be teams that are 10-7, 9-8, maybe even 8-9 at this
yeah,
point, the way things are looking. So we'll see how that shakes out. But those are your NFC top 11 through week 11. We go to the AFC, same thing, top 11 through week 11. You've got the Ravens sitting in the driver's seat for the 1 seed now at 8-3.
mhm,
Chiefs are 7-3. Jags are 7-3. The Dolphins are 7-3. So you got all these 7-3 teams leading their divisions. Then
yep,
sitting in 5th place and just a half game out of the Ravens is the Browns at 7-3. The Texans are 6-4 and the Steelers are 6-4. So those would be your wild card teams right now. Then you're outside looking in. You've got the Bills at 6-5, the Bengals at 5-5, the Colts at 5-5, and the Broncos now sitting at 5-5. The Broncos on the graphic. Um, Speaking of which, I mean they've won 4 in a row. They've got to be the
yeah,
hottest team
that's
in the league
crazy.
right now, and they defeated the previous
Uh,
hottest team in the league, the Vikings, to do it. So,
well, they had the Chiefs and the Bills in there too.
mhm.
Wild.
Yeah. I mean they have just found a way. They've
Pieced them
manufactured
together.
wins. They've
Yeah,
manufactured wins. it's a credit to Sean Payton and the job he's doing there. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Broncos, but they are now firmly in the hunt.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how on the in the hunt people in the NFC they're all 4-6. Obviously, the Bills are the outlier in the AFC with everyone else being 5-5, but it's still close. Anyone's game out here for at least another 3-4 weeks, and there's some tough schedules out there too. So we'll see how it all plays out.
It definitely feels like there's a lot of parity in the league right now,
Yeah,
because
true.
there aren't a lot of teams that you can truly cross off. You know, because you look
Yeah.
in the AFC, like the Raiders are 5-6. They're not on the graphic.
Hmm.
You know, the Chargers are 4-6. I know things are bad and people are upset, but with Justin Herbert and the talent on that team, who knows? They could still get on a run. It's possible.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the NFC, like the Commanders 4-7, like they're these teams that are lurking where it's like, well, you don't feel great about them, but they're still like their record says like they're still in
Yeah.
the
No,
hunt
that's
here,
true.
even through week 11. So, but we're turning the page to week 12. Jody, tell us about our Thanksgiving matchups.
Oh, yeah. So Thursday we got the Packers at the Lions starting at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. Off rip, start off the day right. After your turkey bowl or whatever you got planned in the morning, you go watch some football with the Packers and Lions. Following that up, we got the Commanders at the Cowboys, another divisional matchup for that day. I guess they all are. I should say that now.
Yeah, they
And that
are.
one's gonna be at 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern. And then closing out the night, we got the Niners at the Seahawks. That one's gonna be 7:20 Eastern, 4:20 Pacific. It's gonna be a tough day. I mean, outside of that Packers game, I would say maybe I think those other two could be definitely really interesting.
I think all of them could be interesting.
No, that is true,
Um,
but
I mean, it just depends on how you're feeling about Jordan Love and everything. But like
mm,
the
yeah,
Bears gave that game away against the Lions this last week. I
that
mean, it
is
really
true.
felt like the
That is
Bears
true.
could have beat them. So I think the Packers could certainly go into Detroit and maybe mess up their Thanksgiving. I think Sam Howell could get hot and they could mess up the Cowboys Thanksgiving. And then 49ers Seahawks, because it's in Seattle, is certainly a toss up. I think there are certain favorites for sure. The Lions, the Cowboys, the Niners would be the three teams you'd expect to win all of these NFC divisional games, but the Packers, Commanders, and Seahawks could all play spoiler. So definitely some good games. I think probably better games than what we've gotten in past Thanksgivings for sure.
No, yeah, I will say the Lions are a force at home though. They've only lost once, and that's against
Yeah.
the Seahawks in
Yep.
week 2. So we'll see if the Packers could square that one away with Jordan Love. But we can't forget we got football on Friday too. After you're done shopping, we
Black
got the Dolphins at
Friday.
Jets. 2 p.m. Eastern. What's that? 11
Mm-hmm.
a.m. Pacific. So I mean, another divisional matchup out there. That one can be tough in New York.
Yeah.
We'll see what the Dolphins can do on offense because that Jets D is crazy.
Yeah. That's gonna be that I don't know. We'll see if Tim Boyle's up to the task to make that fun. That could be the worst matchup of the four that we've got between Thanksgiving and Black Friday, but maybe the Jets make it fun. It's in New York, so we'll see.
Yeah, but that leads us to our fantasy football update. It was a wild week to say the least, man. The receivers just, I guess, didn't exist this week all around. My team was plagued with injuries. Your team, they were just shying away from the ball, I guess. We had our quarterback matchup really close. Jalen Hurts had 18.9. Patty Mahomes was 16.88. See, out of the running back, Saquon balled out for you, got you a solid 30. CMC got me 21. Here's the grueling part though. AJ Brown, 1.8. Cooper Cup obviously got hurt, 2.1. And I got Tyreek on my bench with 30.6. Gotta love that. We got for you had Jamar Chase 9.2, Stephon
Eek.
6.7. Your backups hurt, JJ. So I mean, no upside right there for you. Now we get to the tight ends. Your guy Travis Kelsey, Mr. Pfizer, 15.4. Mark Andrews got hurt 4.3. Now this is the tough part for you too. You got Mechie. I don't remember who. Well, actually, I do know. I could go look it up. Who your original draft pick? Oh, that's tough. Your original reserve guy was Sam Laporta, and you were like, "I'm gonna take Mechie instead." So he got 2.2. My guy Jameer Gibbs got me 21.5. Kickers, Tucker got me 11. Butker got you 6. All that being said, you won by 11. You won 98.2 to 87. Worst week that we've had all year, and it's crazy. And we talk about the parity, a bunch of injuries and whatnot has just plagued our team out here, and it's a tough week.
So where are we at on the year now?
You're up 1 now.
So now it's 6-5?
6-5, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, good. We like that. Good Thanksgiving update. All right. Speaking of Thanksgiving, quick, before we get to awards here, we got a quick aside segment. Top 3 Thanksgiving sides, along with 3 turkey legs you're giving out ahead of this Thanksgiving slate. All right. I'll go first on this one. I'm going to go stuffing when it's made right. It's got to be made correct, like well done.
Are you a inside the turkey guy or the outside made on its own?
I've had both. I like both versions. If they're made right. Like the worst kind of stuffing is that dry stuff. Like don't give me that dry.
Definitely.
Like it's got to be like really moist. You know what I'm saying? Like it's got to be good.
You.
Also, don't give me any like cranberries in the stuffing or weird stuff like apples. Like I don't want that either.
Yeah.
Like give me regular stuffing. Okay. All right. Next, mac and cheese. Okay. And I'm talking like the big thick elbow noodles. The creamy, it's gotta make that noise when you stir it. You know what I'm saying?
A little nice whooshing sound. Yeah.
Yes.
Cardi B approved.
Yes. And then last but not least, the mashed potatoes. Once again, must be made correctly. But if they're
Nice
that
and
like really creamy mashed
type.
potato, oh yeah. And if you got the turkey gravy, it's
on
over.
top.
It's over, my good sir. So those are my 3 sides. Little honorable mention, shout out to green bean casserole. I do like the green bean casserole, and it just didn't quite make my top 3. I went with 3 classics. As far as my turkey legs, my predictions for turkey legs this Thanksgiving slate, I'm going Jared Goff. Think he balls out against the depleted Packers secondary.
3 TDs.
We're gonna go 4 TDs.
Ooh-wee.
270 yards. No picks.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
He recovers from a tough game against the Bills or the Bears. Then I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb. He's been cooking people all year long. Why would he not cook the Commanders on Thanksgiving Day? Yeah, for sure. He and Dak have crushed
at least 10 receptions.
Inferior defenses all year. And I'm going CD. We're gonna go over 8 receptions, over 100 yards, at least 1 touchdown. All right.
Yeah.
George
he needs
Kittle.
A bounce back game after 8. I think he had like 5 to 8 receptions last week with like 50 yards.
Yeah.
And a tutty.
He'll be good. He'll be good.
Yeah.
And then in the night game, I'm going a little bit riskier bet. Maybe not one of the flashier names here, but I'm going George Kittle for the 49ers. I think he has a big game against the Seahawks. He typically has big games against the Seahawks for whatever reason. And I think, Purdy's been playing pretty well recently.
That's his guy right now.
The Seahawks are going to load up to stop Christian McCaffrey. So he's going to throw it to George Kittle a bunch off play action. That's what I'm thinking. George Kittle, massive game. We're talking like one of those like 6 catch, 100 yards, 3 touchdown kind of games that Kittle's just like famous for.
Kittle's the only one scoring, and he's just going crazy.
Yeah, like he doesn't have like a million catches, but like all of his catches are big
4
yardage,
touchdowns, and 3 of them are tutties.
Yeah. 4 catches, 3 touchdowns, 100+ yards
with like 80 yards. Yeah. All right. So for me, in terms of the food, when I first read it, I was like, I would swap in the green bean casserole for that mashed potatoes. I'm solid.
Fair.
But then I got to thinking about what I normally eat on Thanksgiving, and I was like, there's something else that's just not on there, and it's creamed corn.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, on Thanksgiving, I normally go back for a plate of just that. Honestly, at times. I'll get that, maybe some ham, so I don't look like too weird with just corn on my plate. But yeah, so for me, my list is mac and cheese, the green bean casserole, and cream corn.
Fair.
That's mine. And I'll do the honorable mention. I want to do bread. You know, you need something to clean up your plate at the end
Oh,
of it.
for
You know,
sure.
get
For
everything
sure. For sure.
incorporated. Maybe with your ham, you want to make a little sandwich or something. So I'm throwing bread for my honorable mention.
Just barely cooked like Hawaiian sweet roll. That's
Yeah.
it
Yep.
right there. That's it. Yeah.
Mm.
Gosh, I
Yeah.
can't wait for Thursday.
And for my turkey legs that I'm handing out, for me, this one kind of goes hand in hand with yours. I'm going to Monroe St. Brown. I think he's getting like 2 tutties, going deep for, I don't know, let's say six receptions, like solid 80 to 90 yards, balling. And then I'm following that CD pick, like you said. He's just been having games like crazy all year. And then for my Niners game, I'm going Christian McCaffrey. I wanted to go with Brandon Ayuk, but I think ultimately that he's gonna get a tutty running and receiving, and it's gonna be, you know, just given away to him.
Fair. Fair. So we'll check back in next week, see how we did on our turkey leg predictions here. Talk about our Thanksgiving feasts that we have, see if we ate the sides and if they were up to par. Certainly not throw anyone under the bus who might have been cooking, because I mean, it won't
True,
be
that's always
me.
a
It
tough part.
won't be me. Is it going to be you?
For me, yeah, I'm actually not traveling this Thanksgiving, so I
You're
bought
going to be
ham.
doing the cooking. Okay.
I bought ham.
Cooking Jody,
I
master of the
got some.
grills.
Yeah, so I got ham. I bought the like scalloped potatoes from Costco. You know, they got that big
Okay.
pan where they're all like sliced up, cheese on
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
Looking forward to that. And when I saw this, I actually told myself I gotta go get some corn to try and make some fire cream corn because I need that on my plate. And so, and then I think I wanted like one other thing. I don't probably just some bread, like I said. I don't know. I'm
Fair.
not gonna venture into making the green bean casserole. That's gonna be too much. I don't know. A little too much for just me myself, you know.
Yeah, that's tough. All right. All right. All right, Joe. So we got a special guest here making her debut on podcasts. We're at that time of year. It's the holidays, Thanksgiving. Talk about things we're thankful for. Talk about family, friends, people that are important in your life, right? So we
Yeah.
thought this week would be a good week to invite my very own girlfriend and huge supporter of the podcast. Some might call her our number one fan. She really does listen to every single
Yeah.
episode, and I really do get feedback from her every week. And she's here today. She's going to give us some of her own, you know, comments, suggestions, thoughts in her very own segment in her debut on the podcast today. This is called the top 5 NFL head coaches based on how Jillian thinks they look and or maybe act.
There you go. Love
And
to hear.
and Joe and I will just
waiting for this
comment.
list.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to see the list. I know she put in a lot of time and effort on this. So Jill, the floor is yours. Take it away. Take it away.
Okay, here we go. Top 5. Starting with my number 1.
Well,
One
from
and
the
only.
top?
Yeah.
That's good. You don't want to
she's going
go
1 through 5. It's her segment. Let her go.
You have to start with the number 1 because I just think about him 24/7, constantly. Okay. Robert Saleh from the New York Jets. I mean, I watched him in Hard Knocks because Trevor made me watch it.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were watching it. Yeah, we were
I loved him. And then I obviously heard y'all talk about it on the podcast. I think he's a beautiful bald man. You can't get a more beautiful head than that.
All right. What do you think of the beard now?
I think it's lovely. It's trimmed very beautifully. I've got a great picture of him, and it's perfectly cut.
Okay.
I think if I could
nicely trimmed.
Yes. I think if I could rub his head and make 3 wishes, one of my wishes would be to drink a Mai Tai on the beach with him because he's got a great tan. My roommate did want me to throw in that she thinks that he has feminine eyes. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I think
I've never taken a look into his eyes, but I mean, I'll have to pay attention next time, I guess.
I think he's wonderful.
So I would just like to insert my commentary here. In no way do I feel self-conscious about this because I'm not bald.
Yeah.
In no way am I worried. Robert Saleh has like
I was gonna
7
say.
kids or something like that with his wife. Also, he lives in New York and we live in Texas. So I think
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm not worried about Robert Saleh. I will not start calling him Mr. Steal Yo Girl. All right. But good for him, honestly. Number one, he's not number one on anyone else's head coach list right now. So glad he could
That's
make it
for
here.
sure. At least he got to get rid of Zach Wilson at the starting quarterback.
I mean, he did just make a move away from Zach Wilson. Also, in fairness to him, I mean, Aaron Rodgers got hurt early, so tough year on him. Not saying he's done a bad job. Just don't think anyone would name him as their favorite NFL head coach right now. But he's number one in Jillian's heart, so we'll let it stand here.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
So, all right. Number 2 might be controversial. I don't think this one is. I'm going with Mike McDaniel from the Miami Dolphins. I love him because he's goofy. I can't take him seriously, especially when he wears the sunglasses. I think he looks real dorky. I think he really looks like he's a girl dad. I just can't see him having boys, which is funny because he coaches them. I just feel like I would have like a full out jackass day with him, like where you just go around and prank people all day long. He's goofy, and I really like him goofy, and that's him. 10 out of 10. You know.
And my guy does have some swag on his feet though.
And those are my thoughts about him.
Yeah. Mike McDaniel, I do like this one. I do feel like he's goofy. I feel like he would be a fun hang. Anytime they do like the released audio of him talking to his players, it feels like everything he says is a joke.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. That's kind of how I am. So I kind of feel like I would get along with Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
He's an interesting cat for sure. I mean, I feel like he just sounds like a robot half the time, or he's just off the Zaza. And he's just like doesn't know what's going on, and he's just going through life.
Did you see his what's the word I'm looking for? Press conference in Germany where he walks in and he's like, "Yeah, I know. I'm taller in person."
Yeah.
I was like, man, he's hilarious.
I saw a clip recently where he was like, "Whoa, like I like your shoes. They're really clean. I like myself a clean shoe." I was like, this guy is something else right now, bro. He's like, you're gonna have to put your feet down.
The cool thing about McDaniel too is he's also very open and honest. Like he's a recovering addict and like has always been open about that. And I think that's pretty cool. He's very honest with his players. I think that's part of why he has such good relationships with his players, and it's why he can get the best out of them. So I also appreciate that about him. Very, very good list so far. Your top 2 are going to square off on Black Friday football this week. You're going to be really You're going to be really split there on who you're rooting for.
And I'm working, and it's going to be terrible because I'm sad about
that. Let's get to your number 3 though.
All right. Number 3, Andy Reid, Kansas City Chiefs. Now this one's a turn. I like him because he looks like a mix of a cute little walrus and a very serious grandpa. And I love old people.
She does.
All right.
So like when I think about my day with Andy Reid, it consists of sitting at like a wood circle table, drinking hot coffee, and just reading the newspaper together. And that's my day with Andy Reid. And you know, when I saw a picture of him, it reminded me of, have you seen 50 First Dates?
Yeah.
You know the little walrus that they like hang out with? That's exactly what he looks like to me.
I don't know if Andy Reid should be offended or complimented.
No, I think it's cute.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong because I do agree, but I wouldn't say necessarily that specific walrus, but I do call him that just because his chops, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's the stash for sure. It's the stash.
Yeah.
Andy Reid, great football coach. Also, another very funny guy. You know, he's like, "What are you gonna do? You won the Super Bowl." Like, I'm just gonna smash 2 more cheeseburgers right now. Like, so what? Didn't they for his birthday? Didn't his team get him like a steak or something. Like that's what they got him for his
they just
birthday.
got him food. Yeah.
Yeah.
My guy loves to eat. I would love to hang out with him and just go smash food all day. Just see
for
what
sure.
happens.
I bet he'd know exactly where to take you in KC. I bet you.
Oh, he probably knows about the finest of barbecues.
No, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. So far, I don't hate your list. This is good. This is good.
Thank you. All right, number 4. I actually did not know who this man was. I don't even know if I'm going to say his name right, because at first I thought it was interesting. I think his name is Todd Bowles. I thought it was Bowles, but that can't be right. From the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The reason why I like the way that this man looked is because he looked, when I first saw him, like somebody that I would like to go bowling and drink a beer with. I also thought he really looked great in red. He used to, I think, coach for the Jets.
At one point, he did.
And he didn't look as good in green.
Okay.
So I really like the way he looks in red. I also feel like he would give me really good advice. But I would not want him to be mad at me because he kind of looks a little scary. But
Joe, you can take this one, right?
I was gonna say you could thank he could thank I can't even speak. He could thank Tom Brady for being where he's at right now. That's all I pretty much have to say about this one.
You know what? Nah, Joe, I'm not standing for Todd Bowles hate right now because he did a good job in New York and he kind of got fired prematurely, if you ask me. And then he goes to Tampa and he's a great coordinator in Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And they win the Super Bowl with him as the DC. Gets handed off to him last year, where at first he thinks Brady's retiring, then he's not, and now he's got Baker Mayfield as his quarterback. All right, like come on, don't be hating on Todd Bowles like that, dude. Like, I'm not saying he's great.
I just assumed Tom Brady brought him in and gave him a job.
I mean, it really was Bruce Arians. If it was anyone made sure he was there. Like Bruce Arians made sure that the torch got passed to him. But I'm just saying Todd Bowles has certainly earned his position. I don't want anyone thinking that we're just sitting here saying Tom Brady gave it to him. I'm just saying. But go ahead. You're number 5.
Oh, number 5. All right. This one is a tried and true Kevin O'Connell from the Minnesota Vikings.
I like this one. Some have said that I look like Kevin O'Connell.
Okay.
Just saying.
Like, if you could see my sweatshirt, I have a Minnesota Vikings sweatshirt on. Had to give this one to him just because I was a born and raised Vikings fan from the beginning. Okay. I think he's kind of cute for like a run-in-the-mill frat boy kind of like vibe, if you're into that. Also, I think he would be kind of good at tennis if that's your thing. Looks like he would really like, I don't know, win a tournament or something. I don't know. I think I just really liked him. Also, it runs in my family, so I feel like I had to kind of give it to him.
Okay.
And also, he's not done horrible this year, which I feel like...
Oh, he's in the running for Coach of the Year right now. I mean, he's probably the best coach, at least as far as his performance this season, based on what he has.
And based off of what you told me at the beginning of the year, I feel like...
This podcast did predict the Vikings to be 7-10, and they currently sit at 6-5 after a 1-4 start, by the way. So... Kevin O'Connell, he's made magic with Josh Dobbs.
I'm just saying.
And without Justin Jefferson. Like, he's definitely in the running for Coach of the Year. So
just saying.
Fair enough. I like Kevin O'Connell. He's a former offensive coordinator for the Rams in the Super Bowl. Yeah. We love Kevin O'Connell in this household.
Yeah. So, I feel like he had to go in the top 5.
Fair.
I feel like he kind of looks like Christian McCaffrey a little bit. Or it could just be the jawline. I don't know.
I see it.
He does have a very strong jawline. Look at that. I like it. Okay.
All right. And you have one honorable mention that you wanted to get to here?
Oh,
I don't know if you'd call it honorable.
Ooh.
This guy can't stand the way he looks.
Oh.
How do you say his name?
Bill Belichick?
No. How do you say it?
Sirianni.
Sirianni.
Sirianni. My Lord. He is the worst looking one. I mean, I can't even look at him.
That's hilarious.
He looks like he belongs in the morgue. He's so gray skinned, and he's got the darkest eyes. Put some eye cream on, sir. And you know what? This one tried to tell me, oh, it's because he works so hard.
I was going to say, in his defense, this man looks like he doesn't sleep. Like he just is up game planning for Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown all night.
We looked up a picture of him when he was young, and he's looked like that from the beginning.
He really has always had kind of like the dark eye circles.
Like
but
it just really bothers. Like I can't. It really bothers me.
It's gotten worse though since he became a head coach, and I'm telling you, it's because the man does not sleep. I guarantee you, he sleeps 3-4 hours a night, and that's it. Like he probably is working.
And I know you shouldn't like judge a book by its cover, but
I still would maintain though that Sirianni's probably a fun hang.
Oof, no. You know what he looks like to me? I can just picture him with like a short sleeve, button down gray top, some jeans, and like a leather jacket with a cigar. He looks like he'd be in the Mom.
I mean, that I guess I could see that with a name like Sirianni too. I mean, we're
like,
stereotyping now, but
I could just see it. Anyways, the worst one.
I think the thing about Sirianni though is he just perfectly embodies Philadelphia, which is why everyone there loves him. Besides the fact that they've won ever since he's been there, but I will maintain though I do think Sirianni would be a fun hang. Joe, what do you think?
I think he'd be cool to hang out with. I feel like he's smashing beers all day.
Yeah,
and we'll just go crazy.
Yeah,
although I do
feel like you could have a fun night with Sirianni for sure.
I also kind of feel like he's got some Aaron Rodgers vibes on him, so maybe he's dipping in the ayahuasca or something, and we just have a wild night.
The ayahuasca.
Go hide away for 3 days real quick and see what happens.
Oh man. Well, that was a pretty good list. It was well researched.
Thank you.
We're very proud of you here. Now, I do know that Jody had maybe a couple questions, some coaches that he felt like should have made it, and he's a little bit upset about it. So, Joe, we're gonna let you fire those.
All right, I feel like first off, Kyle Shanahan is probably top list for most people. I would assume. I would say people find him attractive. The dude, the monster, and calling plays.
Large ears. That's the first thing I'm gonna say.
I like this better because it'll be her instant reaction of people she doesn't know.
I do like this because you can tell she's like, all right, I don't know who that is. I'm gonna look this up and make sure I know who. And it's just the first thought that came to her mind was large ears.
Well, it's the hat, bro. Most people got the hat tucked underneath or the ears tucked behind the hat, and they poke out. I mean, we could do a simple one. Not really. I was thinking of, but Sean McVay.
Oh, that's
the Rams head coach.
Oh, I like him. I feel like he's simple.
Simple.
I'm very Sean
looks like a CrossFit kind of guy. I'm not into it.
Fair enough. He married
also,
he has
he's very pointy hair.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
he does
it's different than it's different than your hair. I like your pointy hair.
What about Mike McCarthy?
Mike McCarthy. Oh.
Oh no. He looks like he would leave a bad tip at a restaurant.
Wow.
That's what he looks like.
Mike McCarthy, bad tipper. Okay, Joe, give us one more. One more good one.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
one more good one.
Let's just go Sean Payton.
Sean Payton. The Broncos head coach.
How do you spell that?
Yep. Thoughts?
Oof. Old and thick neck.
Thick neck.
And not the good kind of old that you like.
Dang.
You know?
All right.
Like he looks like plastic surgery kind of.
Wow.
Old.
You are really ripping people.
He kind of
today.
looks like a mouse.
A mouse?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Ooh.
Okay, well, we're sorry to the people that we disrespected with this segment. We apologize for anyone we offended.
I'm sure y'all are all really great people. And if you saw me at first glance, I'm sure you'd have multiple thoughts as well.
But that's going to do it for Talking Head Coaches with Gill.
There you go. And
Boom.
from there, we'll kick it to us talking about our awards here too.
Yeah.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming.
So it's award season, award time, and we're gonna start off with one of our favorites here, the Tukwa Gamer of the Week award. Jody, who was your Gamer of the Week?
Oh, this week I'm going with Tyreek Hill, bro. My dude, he's a monster. I don't know how else to put it. We've been known this, but I watched back that game. Let me tell you, this dude doesn't ever get tackled unless he truly wants you to tackle him. There was one play. Okay, this dude too was throwing him into triple coverage at least 3 different times. One of them was thrown out of bounds, so he didn't. He made the catch, but it wasn't in bounds. There was one time where he actually got tackled. He got tackled twice in the game. One of those times was triple coverage. He had nowhere to go. But then there's another time in traffic. This dude looked like a pinball out there, just bouncing off a dude. He caught it, didn't really have possession yet, got hit, ended up holding on to it, and then ran, I'm going to say, the length of the field from pretty much between the hash and the numbers on the right side, all the way across the field the other side. Didn't get tackled for like another 5 yards after that catch. The dude's crazy. I think he finished, oh, I didn't write it down. He had like 10 catches, I want to say 140 yards and a touchdown.
Oof.
So yeah, Tyreek Hill is crazy. And the other time he got tackled was on a screen where the dude didn't block it. It was River Crawcraft. Hopefully I didn't butcher that last name. He didn't block the first dude. He almost bounced out of that, but the other dude, River Crawcraft, stopped on the play, stopped blocking. He gave like, oh man, my dude just got tackled right behind the line. And then the other dude came in and made it worse, where it was like a 5-yard loss. But other than that, out of the other 8 catches, nothing, just untouchable. The guy's crazy, too fast.
Tyreek Hill, Gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my Gamer of the Week this week is Geno Smith. All right. Now, normally this award goes to a player who helped his team win, but I'm giving it to Geno because he had a gutty performance in a loss. Number one, we all remember week 1, Aaron Donald coming untouched up the middle. Geno, oh my God!
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And just getting rid of the ball, like
on the audio.
Yeah. So everyone knows that is a scary sight if you're a quarterback. All right, well, fast forward week 11, Aaron Donald coming untouched. Geno tries to get rid of the ball, but it's too late. Gets crushed, absolutely hammered. Like, looks like this dude is not coming back in the game type stuff. So that happens late in the third quarter. He has an elbow injury. It looked like his elbow kind of landed first, and I imagine he probably lost a little feeling in his hand. And certainly, if you're a quarterback, you're throwing hand, you don't have feeling, like it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So, he leaves the game. His team is winning 16-7, right? So, you're hoping you can kind of, I think if you're Pete Carroll, just squeak it out without Geno having to go back in there. So it's clear the offense just struggles without him. And by 1:31 left in the game, they're losing 17-16.
Yeah.
So, and as you mentioned, Drew Lock threw a pick the possession before. Drew Lock had come in for 3 possessions, and he had just struggled. So he comes down after comes back in after sitting those 3 possessions, just in winning time, minute 31, no timeouts, got to get him in field goal range, takes him right down the field, sets up a 55-yard field goal. His kicker missed the kick, but Geno was a gamer for getting back in there and basically giving his team a shot to go win, because there's a noticeable difference between him being in the game and not being in the game. And so if anyone had any questions, Geno Smith is a gamer.
Yeah, no, that I was walking out. So after that field goal that the Rams kicked late in the game, we were walking out like, all right, Mom, they're not scoring with Drew Lock left in this game. Like, it's over. We don't got to worry about it. So we're walking back. I pull out my phone. Thanks to you, I'm watching the game. I'm on the way to the bus, and I'm like, whoa, Geno Smith's in the game, Mom. I was like, hold on, this might get crazy. And then they're in position, like you said, they get that field goal, and I was like, bro, this guy is tough as hell. The fact that he's in drove him the length of the field to get to the other side to get a field goal. But luckily, the Shankopotamus got to our guy in wide right to end the regulation, which was crazy. But getting into my dog of the week, I think I missed those the last couple of weeks, so I got to get it in there this time. We're going back to the same game. I got my guy Pucha Nakua, aka Puka Nakua. Yeah, so they in the halftime show it was the salute to service game. Halftime show they brought out all these service dogs that like served in the military, now turned like normal dogs. Well, Pucha Nakua is a replacement. So our guy Cooper Pup was the OG to this family. And they're like giving a poem about how he's pretty much done with all his work. I'm assuming his time is coming to an end. So they gave that family a new dog to work with, and they said, "Y'all need to name this dog." And so there was Ernest Bones. We got Pucha Nakua, as I said, and the other one was Aaron Ponald. Pucha Nakua was the ultimate winner. And not to mention that our guy Puka in the game himself pretty much, I would say, carried the team apart from our guy Tutu getting some costly pass interferences done on him. So our guy Puka ended with 5 receptions, 70 yards, a touchdown on 7 targets, and a rush for 7 yards. Dude was, from what I remember, was just pretty much the whole offense, apart from like our running backs doing the dirty work here and there. And yeah, dog of the week right there, and literal dog of the week from our guy Pucha.
Okay, I like that. That I like how you tied that all in. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. All right, so we're going the minor setback for a major comeback. All right. So right now this week I'm looking at Justin Fields. All right. He's been out for a while. You know, he's been out. He's been hurt. People have been, oh, Tyson Bagent looks better. Oh, maybe they should draft a quarterback. Oh, maybe Justin Fields isn't the guy. All right. Well, then we see him come back, and I'm telling you, every time I watch him, I still feel like he has like that it factor.
Yeah.
And I still feel like he can be a pretty good quarterback in this league. For the majority of the game, for the majority of the game, he had his team in position to win. He went 16 for 23, 169 yards, touchdown. He had 18 carries for 104 yards. He was sacked twice, including the one that sealed it. But I expect him to have another great end to the year, similar to what he was able to do last year. I don't know that the Bears will be able to resist drafting a quarterback this year after they didn't do it last year. And people are seeing, Justin Fields' Ohio State counterpart CJ Stroud tear up the league right now and wondering why that hasn't happened with Justin Fields. So, if I was telling the Bears what to do, I would just be like, man, just take Marvin Harrison. But I don't know. I don't know that's what they'll do. I go Marvin Harrison and the best offensive lineman at your pick. Number 1 or number 2 pick with the Panthers pick. Draft Marv. Be done with it, and then go draft an O lineman with your pick in the top 10, and really give Justin Fields the ability to show what he can do. But I don't know that they'll do that. I kind of have a feeling it might be trade Justin Fields, draft a quarterback season this time around. So we'll see. But they lost the game, but I thought he looked good. So minor setback, major comeback, Justin Fields. All right. Now we're moving it on to the No Cap Hats Off Award of the week. I did want to give a little honorable mention. A few weeks ago, we mentioned the fake reverse jet sweep pitch back flea flicker to Caleb Williams in the USC Washington game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this, Jody, but the Rams tried to run it exact same play against the Seahawks, and it did not work. Matthew Stafford took one to the chest, and threw a pick. Terrible, terrible execution of that play. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring that back because the Rams tried to do it, and it did not work the same way that it did for USC against Washington. But the real no-cap hats off play of the week, Jerry Jeudy pump faking people.
I don't know how this works.
Pump faking people, and it worked. So for context, if no one watched if you didn't watch it, right? Jerry Jeudy catches like a screen pass near the line of scrimmage against the Broncos. He sees 2 defenders in front of him on his left and right. and he fakes as if like he's going to throw a double pass down the field. Both defenders like jump in the air, and then that lets him.
Both.
Yeah, he got past him and skirt, and he gets like a 10-yard gain on what should have been a 0-yard gain, and that there's
negative,
no way that
honestly.
there was no way that should have ever worked. He looked like a point guard in the NBA throwing a fake pass and then slithering into the lane for a layup. He turned something into nothing into something with a move that should never have worked. And he had Chris Collinsworth hyped. Like,
really?
Jerry Jeudy. Like, it was hilarious. It was awesome. Great. I mean, just no cap, hats off, play of the week for sure.
Yeah, I saw that play, texted Johnny and Mitch and was like, bro, how did that work? He literally caught that at the line of scrimmage. There's no way that they should have fell for that. And he was like, they're like, I don't know, great play, I guess. But this leads us to our Strahan Munoz Award, the big fella award, This week, I'm rolling with, I didn't write his name down. Do you know his first name? It was Martin. I think it's Zach Martin.
Zach Martin?
Yeah. So 70 on the Cowboys is Zach Martin. This dude's really good at pass pro. I loved watching it. He had a couple stunts played on him, but he picks them right up where he's passing people off well. But let me tell you, this guy is slow around the edge. And he let up 4 tackles on run plays that all went his way. It was sad to see, bro. I was like, this dude. So the pulls happened first. I was like, all right, this dude's really slow getting to the edge. It's all right, it's whatever. But then it makes sense why Tony Pollard can't ever get rushing yards going right side, because this dude can't block nobody in the run game. He just looks scared. But his pass pro is immaculate. It's just, I don't know. There's no in between for him. So it's like, he had 4 from when I started paying attention to it. He had 4 tackles get stopped going his direction. Not to mention the fact that I started counting those like in the second quarter, because he didn't have any early on. He had one on a pool, and then that so he was trying to get to the dude, never made it, and that dude just made the tackle. It was sad. If this dude's rushing the ball, I recommend you go left every time. Don't trust him being your lead blocker.
Don't run behind Zach
Martin or just pass all day, because that's the positives out of this. So Zach Martin, you got some room to improve, but I like your pass pro a lot, and you got the award.
Okay, that was like the most critical award I think we've ever given.
Well, I mean, it's for the most part, there's nothing ever bad happening when you're winning by at least 20.
By 20,
and by this guy, there was still some bad plays, even though they won by at least like 20 or whatever it was. It wasn't 20. It was like 13? I think we talked about 11. I don't remember.
So my Strahan Munoz Big Fellow Award is an ode to the game. And if you don't know what I'm referring to when I say the game, I mean what's going to happen on Saturday that will divide families, divide the country, really. Top 4 ranked matchup. Number 2, Ohio State versus number 3, Michigan in the big house. That is the game every year. And so we had a little mini version of the game in a game on Sunday, and that's Aiden Hutchinson from the University of Michigan. He had 6 tackles, a quarterback hit, a big-time sack to end the game with an exclamation point. Second-year pass rusher have been slumping going into the game, multiple games without a sack, and but in fitting fashion, the Michigan man sacked the Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields and forced a fumble that went all the way back out the back of the end zone, and and effectively ended the game because it was a safety and preserved the Lions' comeback win against the Bears to get to 8-2. So we hope to see a lot more Michigan sacking Ohio State quarterbacks on Saturday, but we saw a little preview of it on Sunday in the Bears-Lions game.
Yeah, that he almost had that tutty if our guy Wright didn't kick the ball out of the end zone.
Yeah.
But he still scooped it like he did something and was running away with it. Like, we took the dub.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention our guy got an early day. He got to take off the end of that fourth quarter, but
Oh, good for Zach. Good for Zach Martin. He is a little on the older side. Maybe that's why he's slowing down. Maybe that's why he's slowing down.
I didn't know that. I thought he got the payday this year. I was assuming, he's a little younger.
I think it's
contract.
year 10 in the league for him, something like that. Yeah, he's been around for a while. I think they drafted him in 2014.
When was Taylor Lewan gone? If you know that answer, I think they were the same year.
Oh yeah, so and Taylor Lewan is
He's out the league.
retired. I mean,
Yeah,
pseudo retired. I don't know if he by choice.
He's taking calls, I think.
Yeah,
not entertaining them, but he's had them.
But our Who's Cooking award, right? Quarterbacks who are cooking, or maybe not so much. I think we both got guys who really did cook people this week, though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go here. Tommy DeVito, right? The man that still lives at home with his parents, absolutely cooked the Commander Sunday. He may not have to cook at home, but he cooks on the field right now. He was cooking up some Washington Commanders. Went 18 for 26, 246 yards, 3 tutties. He was sacked a whopping 9 times.
Yeah, crazy.
And still had all that production. But I mean, what a dog, man. He cooked up 137.7 QBR for Thanksgiving dinner. Good for him. And good for the Giants to finally get back in the win column. Tommy DeVito.
Well, the only person I think that had a better day than that was my guy Brock Purdy with the perfect passer rating was at 158.3. He went 21 to 25, 333 yards, 3 tutties, 4 carries for 14 yards. The dude was just picking apart the defense. The Bucs couldn't contain him. He had that bomb to Brandon Ayuk. He had a nice pass between two defenders to Ayuk as well earlier. Our guy Kittle got in the mix with a tutty. And the last one, I want to say it was Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think it was. Anyways, 3 tutties for the kid. He was just having a field day in the Bay. So shout out our guy Brock Purdy cooking up some fire meals. Now, I talked about this a little bit earlier with MVS being an honorable mention for the Boo Boo Evans Award. The only other guy I saw get memed on X was Quentin Johnson. He went 2 for 6 on his receptions for 21 yards. Big drop late in the game to put them either in field goal position at least or even win with a touchdown that he could have ran. And let me say, on X, they were trolling the guy. So it was a video of him getting drafted. It was like, yeah, my mom, she's putting in her 2 weeks notice. And then it was a video of SpongeBob where they're showing just the restaurant. So it's like the register, the cooking area, the tables, in the bathrooms. And it was like, Quentin Johnson's mom, come tomorrow. It was so bad, bro. And so I seen that. I woke up, I seen that, and I was like, oh man, what did this guy do to be getting this kind of hate right now? And the only other dude I saw with that type of hate was MVS, where it was like,
so
that's how I ended up going with this decision. I mean, tough 2 for 6, rookie out of TCU. Not an easy day out there playing. Man, who did they play? I don't know, but
so if you go back,
they played the Packers. That's who they played.
If you go back to our draft comps and when we talked about stuff, I loved the ceiling of Quentin Johnston. I thought athletically he was so gifted, but we did talk about one of his weaknesses, one of his flaws was his hands. We were worried about his hands, which are obviously critical for a receiver. A lot of body catches in college, and man, it's showing up right now. Not good.
I will say his route running is still a little. I remember that's the reason I didn't like him. And on that play, he ran a go or like a fade, whatever you want to call it, and he made one step. And just because he's so tall, he got past the dude and arms up, bobbled it, hit the knee or whatever. Didn't work out for them to win that game or even tie it.
Yeah.
So tough day for our guy Quentin Johnson with the Boo Boo Evans.
So we are introducing a new award this week. We told you it was a special week, but new award alert. And this award is called the Standing on Business Award. We're giving this to a team, maybe a player, more likely a team that performed up to high expectations. They covered a high spread, if you will. This week, that goes to the Cowboys, who once again covered a high spread when they went to Carolina. They won by a score of 33-10. They won by 23 points. to cover a 10.5-point spread. You almost never see double-digit spreads in the NFL, and you did this week because Dallas has been so good against these teams with losing records at home, on the road, hasn't mattered. And once again, they crushed a team with a losing record. And, man, it feels like if you're looking for someone to cover a high spread this year, it's going to be Dallas. So they're standing on business right now.
All right. I got a quick side note, actually, now that we've given this out. I seen on X again. Have you ever heard of Tim the Tap Man? I don't know how much you watch streams. No? Okay, so this dude's a streamer, and he's a Cowboys fan. And so he put out a video today where it's like someone donated whatever amount of money, and they were like, yo, the Cowboys don't matter until they beat a team with a winning record. So mind you, this happened yesterday. So every team that they beat has a losing record at the moment. And he was like, oh man, like this is tough to believe. Like there's no way. Like someone's got to win. So he was going down the list, and he was like, I think they played the Chargers. Like Chargers? Nah. Like, he's like Rams? Nah. And, and every time he saw that he was wrong, he was like, dang, the Cowboys really aren't that good. And it was hilarious.
It's true. I mean, that's what they've done this year. So we're moving it on to the turnover on down segment, one of our favorite segments of the weekly. We got first down, and I'm taking you to a trend. All right, so
I'm looking forward to this. I feel like we might get some all 22 for the first time, which will be nice to see some different angles.
In a minute. Yeah, we'll get some. We're all 22 all day today. All right.
Hell yeah.
So if you remember, a couple weeks ago we talked about I believe this was like week 5 when the Cowboys played the Niners on Sunday Night Football, and we talked about that short motion by Christian McCaffrey, and a lot of teams are using that with their running backs. You know, a lot of teams off the McVay-Shanahan tree are using it. Shane Waldron, who Seattle's offensive coordinator, you know, it stood out to me. They used it on Sunday against the Rams, and but they used it in a different way, right? We talked about, you know, San Francisco was using it to, you know, motion the back out, bring a linebacker with them, and create a one-on-one ISO route, right? And so now it's a choice route where you could go out or in. Well, here, Seattle, you know, 1st and 10 in the red zone, they motion Charbonnet out. You know, they're going to motion Charbonnet out, short motion, but then go play action off of it and come back and boot to where the short motion went and hit Tyler Lockett in the flat. So you'll watch it here. They motion Charbonnet out, right? They're trying to see if the Rams will adjust, which they do a little bit with Quentin Lake, the safety who's in the box here. So you're kind of seeing like, okay, is it man or zone? I think they're saying, okay, just the small adjustment by Quentin Lake suggests they're probably in zone coverage because a backer isn't being taken out. Then it comes back, and you know you're getting zone if you're Geno, right? You get a little play action boot here. You're going to get down blocks by everyone to really sell the run act. This receiver out of the bunch is going to run straight at the safety. And now Tyler Lockett's going to act like he's blocking and then just pop to the flat. Geno coming out. Nice little 10-yard gain in the red zone. Eventually leads to them scoring a touchdown. But again, you can see how this impacts the defense, right? They're in zone coverage, but Quentin Lake's going to bounce just a little bit. Now it comes back. Ernest Jones is really heavy on the run action. Quentin Lake really heavy on the run action. And it forces the vertical route, takes Akello Witherspoon, the corner, out. Quentin Lake took those 2 steps in on the run action. Now he's late getting to the flat and a cover 3 look by the Rams, and it's a wide open shot, right? So great job by the Seahawks using it. Well, here are the Niners using it again, right? They're first going to motion Kyle Juszczyk into a bunch, right? Then they're going to short motion Christian McCaffrey out against one of the best man cover linebackers in the league and Devin White. And they're going to run just pick routes along the goal line. Let Christian McCaffrey, instead of having the choice route going out here, he comes back underneath the offensive line. He's going to run under all those choice route or all those pick routes and be wide open for a touchdown. Just genius stuff from Shanahan here. Really good. You get the motion in the bunch. They got to talk out the bunch now, right? They're talking it out. Oh, Devin White overplays it. Christian McCaffrey gets underneath everything. Wide open. Devin White never even had a chance to cover that. Here you go. You can see it from this angle. It's really good. You can see how Devin White loses leverage, right? Well, anytime you're playing man coverage, you want to be inside leverage, right? So he's inside. Feels good about it. Okay, we get the little short motion outside. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to get that choice route. I know he likes to go outside. I got to be prepared to get out, right? Overruns it a little bit. And then as soon as McCaffrey's running back this way, now he's got to run that way and he's got to run through all the trash of these pick routes. Not a chance. Not a chance. Christian McCaffrey's too good. So
and too fast.
You can just see how teams are using that short motion, how it's evolved since I showed it to you in week 5. And gosh, tough to coach defense in the NFL right now when teams are doing things like that. That's a really tough concept to get a linebacker to stop. You almost have to have a more athletic, nickel corner safety in the box to play them. But you got to think both of those were in the red zone.
Yeah.
So if you play with a sub package and they run the ball, good luck.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you kind of lose here. So this is tough.
Like, I have a quick side note. I forgot to mention the announcer at the Rams game. He did not know how to pronounce last names for the Seahawks. So our guy Jackson Smith and Jigba, he was like, he pronounced his name different every time. He did not know how to say it in Jigba. He was like, in Jigba, in Goba. I don't know. He was saying random stuff. And then Charbonnet, he was calling him a Charbonnet. Like he was an astronaut. It was hilarious. But second down on our turnover and downs comes to me with the bet of the week. Oh, man, where's my notes? I believe, let's see what I picked last week. I went Cowboys minus 11. Easy money right there. Let me tell you, we're back.
Way to go.
This week, we're looking at, I have the Houston, Texas money line. I believe they're underdogs to the Jaguars, but then you get more bet out of the money line. I think it's 1.5, if I'm not mistaken. The money line looks a little better to me. I said last week, I think the Texans take that division from the Jags, and you got to start here playing them. We got the Rams -1 versus the Cardinals in Arizona. I like that one. We got Eagles -3 versus the Bills. Eagles obviously won yesterday. Tough game. Pulled it out. Vikings -3.5 versus the Bears. I don't like it at 3.5. I'd move that down to 3, maybe 2.5. Because I think, like you talked about, Justin Fields makes it competitive, and it might be really close. Out of all those ones, what's up?
No, I was just gonna say these are all tough ones. I honestly think I like the opposite side. I think I like the Bears to cover that 3.5 against the Vikings. The Bears plus 3.5.
3 and/or 2.5. Does that change your mind?
And then you remove the ability for them to lose by a field goal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I would. But you had the Vikings covering the 3.5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I like the Bears to lose by 3 or less. Is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I would move it to 3 and/or 2.5 to prevent that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I like the Bears on the
3.5. I'm not too confident on that.
Yeah, I like the Bears on the plus 3.5, but not a fan of the Texans money line. I like the Texans. I just think the Jags are a better team right now, and I know the Texans already beat them, and I know that our recency bias is like, well, the Jags got smashed by the Niners, then they smashed a bad Titans team. I get it, and the Texans have been hot, but I think the Jags are still the top dog in that division, and I think they're going to prove it. So I don't like that Texans money line, but I think I like what you're going to ultimately come to here.
Yeah, I'm just taking the Eagles -3 versus the Bills. I think, after I thought they were losing last night to begin with. I thought, we've seen the game before already, right? Chiefs are just that team, and early on it looked crazy. Our guy Chris Jones getting after him, like a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts. He had a fumble that he almost lost. He ended up getting himself through, I think, a pick as well at one point in time. Like, it wasn't looking good for the Eagles. But after that game, they told me they're the team. They're that team right now. And the Bills also don't look like that team right now. So Eagles -3 is my answer this week.
All right. I like it. Hopping back over for third down, the third down breakdown. We're going to go to that Giants-Commanders game because Tommy DeVito played so well, and I want to explain why. All right, so one thing to understand is the Giants have been running the ball not only with frequency, but with effectiveness with Saquon Barkley in recent weeks. And so when you can run the ball as well as the Giants have, I know it hasn't shown up in wins and maybe not even necessarily the production you'd like to see, but they've been stubborn with it. They've tried to get Saquon the ball as much as they can. In this game, they got him the ball, throwing it to him as well. They used his ability to catch the ball a lot, which I like.
Two tutties.
Yeah. And on this one, you've got 3rd and 1 at the 40-yard line or just past the 40-yard line, and everyone in the entire stadium assumes that this ball is going to Saquon Barkley. But I love that the Bills, Brian Daboll had the confidence in DeVito to go play action pass here, right? You're going to get a little motion by this offset, this H-back over here. Going to motion over. They're going to sell that it's run action this way to Saquon. You're going to get a little play action boot, and then you're just going to get crossers on opposite sides by the Giant receivers. And you'll see that Darius Slayton comes wide open on the back end of this play. So here we go. You get the motion over, forces a DB to come over with it because they're in man coverage. You get the play action, right? The eyes, everyone's eyes are sitting in the backfield because they all think it's run. You get this action across, which draws this DB away.
Mm.
And guess what it also does?
Nice
effectively picks the DB on the other side. Darius Slayton now can just wheel around wide open. DeVito gets it to him, makes a one-man miss, touchdown. That was a really great play design by Brian Daboll, especially when everyone assumes it's going to be run. There you go again. The run action holds everyone, even this middle of the field safety. That one pulls him away. You end up with a triple team on one guy, another guy wide open, touchdown, Darius Slayton and the Giants, and that's how they were able to beat the Commanders. Took advantage of what they had put on film in terms of tendencies and broke them. The best play callers in football know how to do that and when to do it. And in order to get that done, they had to create the run tendency first by being stubborn with Saquon, having some success, whether it be limited or a lot, and then being able to break that tendency on 3rd and 1 to go for a big play, a big touchdown, and a big win for the Giants over the Commanders.
Yep. Let's see. For the 4th down on this turnover on downs, we're giving you a twofer from one team. We had the Niners. So 4th down is going to be the bad beat. The Niners, their spread was 13.5. They finished out at 27-14. That's only 13. Not to mention, on the flip side, if you bet the over-under, the over was 41.5. Game closed out at 41. If you bet on them on either side, that's a tough day.
Gosh, very tough.
Just right at, sure. Or they're just really good lines. Vegas knows too much, and know.
Vegas can predict the future. They know what's going to happen. That's a tough beat for those who are gambling on the 49ers there.
So that brings us to the last thing we got going on today. We got the banger of the week from me this week. And it's funny enough, I was actually watching this before we hopped on today. It's the finale. I didn't know it was going to be that soon. So wow. I'm talking about Love Island Games, if you've heard of it or not. It's basically, have you heard of Love Island at all, I should say?
I have, yes.
Yeah, okay. So Love Island, essentially, it's a dating show where they bring in people throughout the week. So people couple up, and then they try to learn about each other over a span of time. And then there's games incorporated to where they learn more about each other. And then they'll bring in new people to try and pull them away from the people they're in a couple with already. So what Love Island Games is, it's people that have already done the show, and they brought people in from the US, the UK, Australia, and I think there's one chick from Spain. And it's called the games because the challenges give people power, which isn't normal, and then they go and determine who they want to vote out of the island. But then there's also people who come in who have also been on the show at one point in time.
Okay.
And they try to persuade them to switch couples. Well, anyways,
very traumatic.
Yeah. So yeah, I started off behind watching it. I was 5 episodes behind when I started. I'm all up to date. I'm watching the last one right now. It's the finale, and I just saw who won. I don't know what they end up doing because there's a prize you get. 100. It's normally 50K, but they did 100,000 for the games. So I'm gonna find out who or what decided to either split it or keep it all to themselves. So that'd be interesting. But yeah, that's had me torn. I've loved watching it because I started off watching the UK when I was in college, and then the US has been more accessible now because I don't have Hulu anymore. So it's a nice combination of everything, and I don't know, a lot of drama, really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's I've watched 1 or 2 seasons of it before. Definitely
Uh-huh.
like falls into that guilty pleasure, trashy TV, reality TV segment
Yeah.
of it. Like where if you're not feeling great about yourselves, and you just want to watch other people make fools of themselves, it's a good
Yeah.
time. And then
And
you get your
you like
people that you root for, that you identify with. You're
yeah,
like, well, I
exactly.
kind of get where that guy's coming. I'm rooting for him. I hope he
Yeah,
does
or you're
well.
like, "Oh, that dude sucks. He's just
Yeah,
hating
yeah.
everyone, pissing off
No,
everybody."
everybody loves to find the person they love and the person they hate, and you
Yeah,
root for and
exactly.
against those people. So that's why reality TV works.
Yep,
But
exactly.
yeah, no, I'm with you. I'll have to check it out. I think I got maybe a little bit of downtime on this Thanksgiving break, so maybe I'll be able to check
Yeah.
it
It's 19 episodes, they're all an hour,
out.
so
Okay,
it's
all
not
right.
too much.
19
Normally,
hours of your
they
life.
last, like yeah, it's normally, like, 50 episodes, which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. All right, man. Well, we want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving
Yeah,
and
definitely.
spend
Enjoy
it
that food.
eating the turkey, eating the sides that we mentioned, watching football, and we'll be back on probably Sunday night. I'm thinking to
Alright, bet.
recap this Thanksgiving week, and until then,
To your talk.
we're gonna let our guy Ray take us out.